Ahoy, people! Vaniverse, the Vaniverse Gaming channel here with another video on Divinity Original Sin 2. In today's video, I want to cover the Warfare tree, and I want to give you guys some of my favorite abilities, probably my top 10 that I like in the Warfare tree that I use a lot, and then the other 5 that I don't use as much or at all, and I'll explain to you why. Obviously, people have a different opinion than me on this. If you want to post your comments below, please post them below. This is solely what I like to use and why. And then also, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, give it a like, and then sub to the channel, bottom right hand corner, click on the icon. And just thanks for everyone who's been supporting our channel. I really do appreciate it, as well as my brother and his ESO videos. Both him and I are very busy these last couple months, so we've had a hard time sticking to our video schedule, but we'll keep trying to push through it and get content out as best we can. With that being said, let's get started here. So Warfare is one of my favorite trees from a melee physical damage perspective. It does a lot of damage, has a lot of CC, and if you have a tank character, it's actually pretty nice. So I'm going to cover the abilities that only cost you 1 point in Warfare and what I like and what I don't like. And then we'll kind of go for the number 2, the 3, and the 5, and hopefully sum up at the end here. So for the 1 Warfare abilities, the one I use the most is going to be Stomp, Crippling Blow, and Bouncing Shield. Now, Bouncing Shield is amazing if you're a shield user. The amount of damage it does compared to the other abilities is leaps and bounds better. If you're not doing a shield build and you're doing a two-hander build, that's fine. The amount of damage you can get with a two-hander with some of these abilities really changes it. I just really like Bouncing Shield. It only costs 2 ability points to use. It only has a 2-turn cooldown, and the damage is pretty massive, and it goes up to 2 characters. So I am a shield user. If you're not, this is not a big deal for you, but as a shield user, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite abilities. Crippling Blow is nice because it kind of hits things in a range. So you can see here, I hit all 3 of them. It kind of is a sweeping that hits everything in front of you, and it cripples them if they do not have any physical armor, because it is resisted by physical armor, which means that they wouldn't be able to move if they're crippled. They could not move anywhere. Battle Stomp is also a nice ability. It has a pretty good range. It does very little damage, but it has the ability to knock down everything in front of you as long as their physical armor is missing. Now, if you have Battering Ram is nice early on, but I have a lot of issues with the running into things with this. You know, it seems like it should work, but a lot of the times things get in your way. It doesn't work like it should, and that's why I kind of don't use it much anymore now that I've leveled up. Also, with the Blitz Attack ability, it kind of makes Battering Ram pointless because you can use Battle Stomp. Early on, you have very few abilities to use, so you're going to use Battering Ram as well as everything else, but once you have multiple abilities to use, it's almost not important to have Battering Ram anymore. Now, the Warfare 2 abilities I use are Blitz Attack. What Blitz Attack does is it lets you target a creature, and you can teleport to them and then to a second one. So basically, it lets you, it's about a 10-meter range. It's random on where you end up, but you teleport to one monster and then to the next. It does damage, but it basically is used to get you into the fight and kind of transport you around so you can get into the thick of things. It's a nice ability to close the gap and really get up in there as a melee character. Whirlwind is a nice ability to have. The damage it does is not as much as some of the other abilities, but the range on where it hits is pretty significant, and to be able to hit multiple characters is pretty crazy, like you can see right there. Now, Deflective Barrier I have on here. If you're not a shield user, this is probably not a great ability for you. But as a shield user, it's kind of nice for a couple reasons. One, it gives you physical armor buff on top of your current, which is nice to have in this game. And then 2, it reflects all projectile damage back. You still take the original damage from it, but it reflects it back. And it doesn't matter, like this guy right here, he's a wand user. So if I put this on, boom, and then Feign does some attacks on me, you see that I'm still taking the damage, but so is he. And it works for like throwing blade. She took it, I took it, It works for arrows. So it's kind of nice that any ability that is a projectile ability, you reflect the damage back to the person who cast on it, but you still take the initial damage. And then on top of that, it gives you a physical armor buff. So to me, as a shield user in this game, it's pretty overpowered because a bouncing shield and deflecting barrier is a really nice ability to have because it lasts for 3 turns. And if you add taunt to this and everyone has to attack you, it's a really nice combo to use as Deflective Barrier with Provoke. The next ability I use pretty much constantly is Phoenix Dive. Phoenix Dive is similar to the other abilities in the game, like Tactical Retreat, and I don't know what the Rogues one is called, but basically you just kind of teleport to a certain area. This is really great for positioning in the game, and pretty much outside of combat if you want to get to places that you couldn't normally get to. It's a really nice ability to have. Just be warned that if you land in oil or poison, it'll explode because it leaves fire wherever you land. Now, the level 2 abilities I don't use that often are Enrage and Provoke. Now, Provoke has its points. Like I said, if you're using Deflective Barrier, you can provoke everything and then use the Deflective Barrier to do more damage to them, which is a nice little combo. But other than that, if you're not using a shield and you don't really want to take a lot of damage, you know, Provoke is just okay. Enrage, my problem with Enrage is it only lasts 1 turn. There's a lot of abilities that I'd like to use on Warfare that uses Enrage. Using Enrage on like your Rogue is okay, but if she's backstabbing, she already gets a guaranteed crit, so there's kind of no point to having Enrage. It's just for the 2 ability points it costs and the fact it only lasts 1 turn, it just feels like a waste to me, so I really never use it. And that's the Warfare 2 abilities, what I use, what I like, and what I don't. Warfare 3 abilities, you have Challenge, you have Onslaught, you have Thick of the Fight, and you have Guardian Angel. Now, Guardian Angel, if an ally is in melee range, it redirects 50% of the received damage to you. Again, if you're not a really tanky shield user, I don't know if Guardian Angel is something you're going to want to use. Basically, if you did this, any damage these 3 characters would take, you would get 50% of it, which is kind of nice because then you only have to really heal one person more than everybody else. I don't know. If you're not a really tanky shield user with a lot of health, I don't know if this is an ability you want to use, which is why I have it over here in the not used as much column. The other ability I don't use as much is Thick of the Fight. It is a damage boost. The problem is it costs a source point. Your other source abilities are just way too good to waste a source point on Thick of the Fight. It can give you, you know, like right now there's 3 other people around me, including myself. So if I use this, you'll see if I go into my inventory here and it goes to my damage, Thick of the Fight is giving me an additional 40%, but that 40% is on my weapon damage. So my weapon damage is 100 to 110, so you're looking at like 40 to 44 extra damage, and to cost 1 source point to do that, it just doesn't seem worth it to me, which is why I don't use it hardly at all. The other ability in the Warfare 3, which is really nice, is called Challenge. You can see the range on this thing is just absurd, and as long as you kill the person that you challenge within 3 rounds, you're healed and receive damage and armor bonus. But if it survives, it's healed full, and I receive damage as the caster. So it's one of those things where you just target a creature that is low on health, and you use it, and it's a really nice damage buff, as well as it heals you. It's just a really nice ability to have on your bar. You know what? You can use it once every 5 rounds. It lasts for 3 turns. I like it. I use it all the time. The other ability, which is a source ability for Warfare 3, is Onslaught. It costs 2 source points, but it's probably one of your hardest hitting abilities, especially if you're a 2-handed user. Right now you can see it does 110 to 120 per hit, 5 hits, you know, 550 to 600 damage is what it's currently doing overall. If you crit with those, it's even more. If you're using a 2-hander, it's even more. So if you're not a shield user, this is probably one of your hardest hitting abilities that you have. And for the 2 source points, this is like your big finisher that you're going to want to use on someone who doesn't have physical armor. You can pretty much completely zero out somebody in a fight very easily. And then lastly, your 5-point ability is Overpower. What this does is the damage is really nice, 329 to 360. It only costs 1 source point to use, but as long as you have more physical armor than the opponent, you will automatically destroy all their physical armor and set knockdown. So normally physical armor is removed by doing damage, so 360 physical damage, you would take 360 damage off of their physical armor. But because this ability is the way it is, as long as you have more armor than them, that's all that matters. So for instance, I have 2600 physical armor, Sybil has 1100. If I hit her with this, well, let's just do this guy, 574, it completely nullified his armor. It says knockdown was blocked by physical armor, but that shouldn't be right. I think it's because I'm out of combat, but if we were in combat, it should take away all their physical armor and knock them down. But I think it's kind of broken right now, so if they have physical armor, it doesn't knock them down. If they have physical armor, it just removes other physical armor but doesn't knock them down. And if they don't have physical armor, it does 360 damage and knocks them down. It's a really good ability, especially if you're using a two-hander. Even with a sword and shield, it's nice. The key is just to make sure your physical armor is high. And for 1 source point, 360 damage, you can use it 3 times versus, 560 damage, 600 damage, you can use it 1 time. I just think that it's an overall better ability to use on multiple characters through the game. So I know this was long-winded, but hopefully you guys, this video helped on the abilities that I really like, what they do, and the abilities I don't like and why. If you have any comments, leave them below. Please like this video if you like it. Sub to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. And hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. This is Vanderverse, the Vanderverse Gaming channel. Cheers and peace out.